All right. Ready to dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Let's do it.
This book, I mean, it's practically a legend on personal finance bookshelves.
Yeah, for good reason.
And it goes way beyond just like getting rich.
Well,
It's
absolutely.
like cracking the code, on how money actually works so you can finally take control.
Totally. And I think one of the most compelling things about this book
Yeah.
is how Kiyosaki uses these stories of his two dads.
Right. His real dad and then like his best friend's dad.
Exactly. To like really show those contrasting money mindsets,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like poor dad followed the classic path.
Right. The good education, the steady job.
But still always seemed to be struggling.
Yeah, always struggling financially.
And then there's rich dad who,
high school dropout.
high school dropout, built an empire
Mm.
through entrepreneurship and just really smart investments.
Being savvy.
What was the difference, really?
Well, I think Poor Dad really focused on like working hard.
The classic recipe.
Saving money, yeah. The classic recipe for stability, right?
Yeah,
But, and Kiyosaki points this out really well, it's like a trap.
it is.
That rat race. Earning and spending, never getting ahead.
You just feel that grind
You do.
all the time.
Exactly. Rich Dad, on the other hand, he focused on something else.
Oh, yeah.
Financial education.
Oh, interesting.
Like understanding how money works.
Not just like being good at your job,
No.
but like understanding money itself.
Yes.
Okay, that's huge.
It's a big difference. And he believed in getting assets.
Assets.
Things that put money in your pocket, not liabilities, right? Those things that drain you.
Okay, so not just like your house is a liability. Give me a different example.
Okay, let's talk about debt.
Ooh, debt. Everyone loves debt.
Right. Most people, it's a burden, right? A
Yeah.
liability.
Yeah.
But Rich Dad says some debt, certain types, can be assets
Really?
if they help you get income-generating assets.
Oh.
Think about, like, using a loan to buy rental property.
Okay, yeah.
It makes more cash flow than the loan payments.
Wow. Okay.
That's strategic debt.
Debt is a tool. That's a whole new way to think about it.
It is. It's about leveraging your resources to
Yeah.
your advantage.
So it's like those student loans are suddenly less scary if I can use them to like build skills for a side hustle.
Well, maybe not that simple,
Mm,
but you get the idea.
I see the principle, yeah.
Yeah. So how do we build this financial IQ? What does Kiyosaki actually say?
Yeah, how do we do it?
He lays out some strategies. He wants you to learn about asset classes, right?
Like what?
Real estate, stocks, businesses.
Okay, class.
Each has its own risks and rewards, and understanding those, that's key.
I mean, this all sounds kind of risky, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not about to become a real estate mogul.
Right. And it doesn't have to be grand gestures, right?
I'm good.
Even if you invest in like a low-cost index fund,
Oh, okay.
that's a step toward building assets.
I can do that.
You start small, educate yourself, and gradually you increase your knowledge and your portfolio.
So, less quit my job tomorrow, more build a foundation.
Exactly. Rich Dad was all about thinking long-term.
I like that. One thing that really stuck with me from the book was this idea about looking for jobs for learning,
Yes, not just earning.
not just earning. Like, how many times have I taken a job just for the paycheck?
Right, without thinking, what am I learning here?
Totally.
That's a trap, especially early on, right?
Yeah, when you're first starting out.
Yeah. What if instead of chasing that high starting salary,
Yeah.
you found a role that teaches you super valuable skills?
Even if it pays less at first.
Exactly.
So instead of being like a barista, I should have been learning how to roast beans
Maybe.
and open my own coffee shop.
Right. Or maybe that barista job is teaching you customer service,
Okay.
marketing, inventory management. Those are skills for any business.
That's true.
It's about the bigger picture,
Yeah, the long
not
run.
just the immediate payoff.
I like that. So even if I don't become the next Warren Buffett, there's still lessons here for me.
Absolutely. He challenges how we think about money, about careers, but there's a controversial side to Kiyosaki, right?
Oh, yeah, the taxes and corporation stuff.
That's the part that throws people off.
Yeah.
How does he justify it?
I want to know.
He's not saying to evade taxes.
Okay, good.
It's about understanding how the wealthy use legal structures
Oh, okay.
to protect and grow their assets.
So be aware of the rules of the game.
Exactly. It's about becoming financially savvy.
Okay, yeah. Understand how the system works.
Right. But be careful, seek advice before doing anything big based just on his ideas.
So not telling everyone to incorporate their dog walking business.
Not exactly. Informed action, not reckless moves.
I like that. Man, this is fascinating.
Right.
We've covered so much.
It feels like we're just getting started.
I know. It feels like we've only scratched the surface.
We've got the basics, right?
Yeah, the rat race, assets versus liabilities,
Yeah.
learning from those jobs.
But now it gets really interesting.
Ooh, the mindset shift.
Exactly.
All right, let's dive into that in part 2.
Let's do it.
Back again. More Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We just left off talking about taxes and corporations.
Yeah, the heavy stuff.
But I want to talk about, like, the good part.
Okay, yeah.
How do we actually use this rich dad mindset?
Well, one thing that I thought was super interesting is Kiyosaki wants us to rethink risk.
Risk.
Yeah, like Rich Dad wasn't afraid to take risks.
Okay, but like calculated risks.
Yeah, calculated. But he was strategic, and it's funny because usually the advice is play it safe.
Right. Diversify, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
All that. But Kiyosaki says playing it too safe
Yeah?
can actually be its OWN kind of risk.
Whoa.
Think about it. If all your money is just sitting in a savings account,
Earning what, like nothing?
yeah, practically nothing. You're losing money because of inflation.
Wow. Okay, so avoiding risk is risky.
It can be. Kiyosaki wants us to be okay with calculated risk. To know that failure, it happens.
Yeah, you're going to fail sometimes.
But it's a chance to learn.
If you're not failing, you're not trying. Something like that.
Right. And he says, learn from it, get back up and try again, do it better next time.
But how do we know which risks to take?
That's the thing.
There's got to be a line between calculated and just reckless, right?
Totally. That's where financial education comes in. Rich Dad, he was big on always learning.
Yeah, okay.
Learning about investment strategies, asset classes, what's happening in the market.
So it's not just being brave enough to take the risk, it's knowing enough to do it smart.
Yes. Knowledge is power. He says that all the time.
Okay, it's like, if you're jumping in the deep end, you better know how to swim.
Exactly. He also talks about practical experience, not just the theory.
Like how he had Kiyosaki take those low-paying jobs to learn.
Exactly. Those experiences, even if they're tough or, not glamorous, they teach you stuff.
You can use later.
Yeah, in your career or if you start a business.
So like, maybe scooping ice cream wasn't a waste of time. I learned customer service, how to deal with angry people.
Right.
Even inventory when we ran out of sprinkles.
See, you're reframing it.
Yeah.
Finding those hidden lessons.
Okay, but most people aren't getting rich off ice cream. What are some things Kiyosaki actually recommends?
He talks about a few things. Real estate is a big one.
Real estate, yeah.
He sees it as this tangible asset. It makes passive income from rent, and it usually goes up in value.
That makes sense. Everyone needs a place to live.
Right. And he talks about using debt to buy rentals.
Okay.
So rent covers the mortgage, you build equity over time.
Real estate seems like a lot, though. What about something easier, especially if you're starting out?
He also talks about stocks and bonds.
Oh, okay.
He sees the stock market as owning little pieces of big companies. You get to be part of their growth.
I like that.
Long-term investing. Look for companies that are doing well, have a good track record.
That sounds a lot less scary than real estate.
Mm-hmm.
But the stock market's risky, right?
There's risk, sure. But Kiyosaki says, if you learn about it,
Yeah.
diversify, stay informed, you can handle that risk.
So back to education.
Yeah.
Always.
Knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's starting a business.
Oh, yeah, the Rich Dad Classic. But that's a whole other thing.
It is. Different skills, different mindset, but he thinks it's the best way to create wealth and be fulfilled,
Yeah, but way more risk, too, right?
Definitely. It's not for everyone, but he wants everyone to at least think about it.
That entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah. I think it's cool that he's all about people taking control,
Even if it's scary.
Yeah, stepping outside your comfort zone.
And that actually leads perfectly into this whole mindset thing, right?
The big shift. It's not enough to understand money. You got to change how you think about it.
Which is what we're going to talk about in part 3.
Exactly. We'll dig into all that next time.
Okay, final part of our Rich Dad, Poor Dad deep dive.
Part 3.
We've talked about Kiyosaki strategies.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about risk.
We even talked about your ice cream days.
Oh, yeah, those were the days. But now it's time for the mental game.
The mindset shift.
This is where the real change happens, right?
Yeah, this is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
Kiyosaki says it's not just knowing about money.
Okay.
It's changing how you think about it.
That's deep.
It is. Think about those things we hear all the time.
About what?
Like, money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah, yeah.
Rich people are just lucky.
Oh, yeah, I hear that one a lot.
These are beliefs.
There you go.
They can totally shape how we act, even if we don't realize it,
It's like we're programmed to think a certain way about money.
before we even really start earning it. And Kiyosaki says, question that.
Okay, yeah, challenge those ideas.
Break down the walls that keep us from being successful.
But how do we actually do that? It's easy to say, think differently.
Right. Our brains don't always cooperate.
Exactly.
So Kiyosaki has a few ideas. One, surround yourself with the right people.
People who have a good relationship with money.
Yes. People who, embody Rich Dad. Find mentors, successful people.
Okay.
Even just friends who are good with their finances.
I'll find those rich dad figures in our lives.
Exactly. People who can challenge you, show you possibilities.
I like that.
And just as important, stay away from people who are negative about money.
Yeah, if everyone around you is complaining about being broke,
Yeah.
it's hard to think differently.
Totally. You got to build the right environment.
Support system.
Yeah. And it's not just who you hang out with, it's also taking control of your own money.
What does that mean?
Kiyosaki doesn't want us blindly trusting advisors
Okay.
or following outdated advice. He wants us to be financially literate.
To know where our money is going
Exactly.
and how to make it work better for us.
It's about making smart choices for yourself, being in the driver's seat of your finances.
So instead of just hoping my savings account grows,
Yeah.
I need to learn about investing,
Yes. Learn about different things you can do with your money.
like those asset classes we talked about.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't just like you learn it once and you're done.
Okay.
Financial education, it's ongoing. Stay curious, stay informed. Things are always changing.
So always be learning, not just in your career, but with your money too.
Lifelong learning.
Yeah.
But it's not just about what you know.
It's about actually doing something.
Yes. Take action. Don't be scared to try things out, to start that side hustle you've been thinking about.
He really wants us to get out of our comfort zones.
Don't let fear stop you.
Yeah.
Embrace the unknown and remember, it's okay to mess up.
Yeah, you're going to fail sometimes.
Exactly. And when you do, learn from it. Get better.
So mindset shift, Andy, a call to action. That's pretty powerful.
That is. And it's all about taking charge of your future.
Wow, I've got a lot to think about after this deep dive. My notes are all over the place. I think I need to read the book again.
That's great. It means it's sparking something in you. That's what we want.
It definitely has. And that's what I love about these deep dives. It's more than just like a book report.
It's the starting point.
Yeah, it gets you thinking. Makes you want to learn more.
Exactly. And financial success, it's not just about the money, right?
Right.
It's about the freedom it gives you.
The opportunities.
Exactly. So, to everyone listening, what's stuck with you from Rich Dad, Poor Dad? What's one small thing you can try today to start changing your mindset?
Start taking control.
We hope this has given you some new ideas and inspired you to think differently about money.
Yeah, get out there and make those rich dad moves. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
See you next time.